In the chapters of my life at ages 16 and 17, I shared a home with my grandparents and later my cousin. The autumn air enveloped us as we sought solace outside, enveloped in smoke, shedding the day's worries to prepare for the night. To our left, about 100 feet away, a small ravine cradled a babbling stream at the base of an 8-foot slope. Amidst our tranquility, an unsettling disturbance shattered the peace. Footsteps traversing water, leaves rustling, ascending towards us. Oddly, no visible figure accompanied the eerie sounds. Unsure of the nature behind this unseen presence, we hastily retreated indoors. Inside, descending the stairs to our basement living quarters, sadly my cousin requested the living room light be switched on for our evening meal. Approaching the wall, a disconcerting sight unfolded in my peripheral vision. A woman posed in a frog-like position with panic-stricken eyes sat clad in a white hospital gown. Overwhelmed, I sprinted back to the kitchen to recount the vision to Sally. Returning to the living room, it was void of the mysterious woman. During our meal, my gaze offered a clear view into the back family room. A spectral figure, male and as white as the moon, materialized, traversing the room from a wall leading outside. It disappeared by the balcony directly above where we had smoked just an hour earlier. Fast forward 5 months, back at my mom's residence, one night at 3 a.m., I rose to visit the bathroom. Glancing at my door, a chilling sight met my eyes. The same woman from my grandparents' living room, on the living room floor, limbs twisted and her hospital gown stained. Most hauntingly, her head twisted backward, jaw agape, leaving behind an empty void. An image I can't erase, an encounter defying complete description. I recently moved into a charming old house, its history cloaked in mystery. However, my nights have become restless, haunted by sleep paralysis visions and fleeting shadows at the corner of my eye. Even my 2 young sons claim to have friendly conversations with invisible beings in their rooms. The encounters with the supernatural have escalated beyond mere glimpses. Spectral figures now appear in full view, sending shivers down my spine. Determined to uncover the secrets of my new home, I delve into its history, hoping to connect the threads of the past to my present. Every creak in the floor and rustle of the wind seems like a message from another realm. My sons, oblivious to the paranormal, engage in inanimated conversation with unseen friends, creating an eerie harmony with the mysterious energy that fills our home. Late one night, as I sift through old records, a cold breeze and an unseen presence send shivers down my spine. Shadows dance in the moonlight, and the history of the house remains elusive, like a ghost slipping through my fingers. Local tales are hushed, as if the air itself guards the secrets within. One evening, faint whispers echo through the halls, leading me through the dimly lit rooms. Shadows take on forms hinting at a bygone era. Their expressions a haunting mix of sorrow and longing. As I explore the house's history, I realize the spirits aren't malevolent. They yearn to share their stories, seeking acknowledgement from the living. The once foreboding atmosphere transforms into a tapestry of intertwined lives. The whispers become a conduit between realms, bridging the gap between the living and the spectral. My sons continue their playful banter with unseen friends, blissfully unaware of the ethereal tapestry enveloping them. And I, the unwitting steward of this spectral haven, learn to navigate the thin veil between the seen and the unseen, the living and the departed. In the eerie hours of a night earlier this year, an unsettling tale unfolded. Startled awake by a 3 a.m. phone call, I found myself answering to a woman I had recently met, inviting me to an impromptu hangout. Despite an immediate sense of foreboding, I perhaps foolishly agreed, unwittingly stepping into a situation that could have turned deadly. As we reached her friend's house, a sinking feeling settled in. The night took a sinister turn as the woman and her companion delved into substance abuse. Though she insisted it was only Adderall, the truth soon emerged. It was meth. Refusing to partake, I felt an instinctual need to distance myself from the unfolding chaos. As the night wore on, tensions between the two escalated into heated arguments over various issues. Feeling uneasy, I decided to call an Uber and make a swift exit. Their dispute reached an unusual climax, revolving around a seemingly innocent selfie. The friend accused her of editing the photo, branding her a liar while she vehemently denied any alteration, claiming it featured her mother. Reluctantly drawn into disagreement, they presented the photo for my judgment. A ghastly revelation awaited me. In the image, the woman stood with her back to a mirror, a stark contrast to her healthier pre-meth appearance. What sent shivers down my spine was the unearthly figure reflected in the mirror behind her, a bony, dark, faceless humanoid entity. It seemed inexplicably connected to her, a sinister presence from a realm beyond. Overwhelmed with dread, I spent the night in unsettlingly wakefulness. Seeking solace come morning, I turned to an Orthodox church, tears streaming down my face. Desperate for answers, I confided in my best friend. To my astonishment, she recounted a similar experience, involving mushrooms where she witnessed a demonic entity attached to her ex-boyfriend, a former drug addict. The parallels were unnerving, both instances tied to individuals ensnared by the clutches of drug addiction. I couldn't shake the feeling that these entities thrive in the shadows of substance abuse. Doubts linger about the authenticity of the photo, but the terror it instilled in me was undeniable. Whether a result of drug-induced vulnerability or a glimpse into a supernatural reality, the encounter left an undeniable mark, haunting my thoughts long after that fateful night. Deep in the woods behind my grandfather's house, a tradition of hunting stretched across generations. It was more than a pursuit, it was a legacy echoing through the rustling leaves. A few weeks ago, my grandfather, the seasoned patriarch of our hunting lineage, peacefully passed away at 90. His house, a shrine to the art of hunting, stood silent. To honor him, my father, a lifelong hunting companion, suggested we venture into the familiar woods, hoping to harvest a deer or two. On this day, we positioned ourselves strategically about 500 yards apart near a tranquil stream. The quietude of the wilderness surrounded us, broken only by the occasional rustle of the squirrel. As the sun cast its gentle glow, my father and I, bound by unspoken understanding, prepared to shift positions. Behind an ancient pine tree, I stood, senses turned to the subtle sounds of the forest. Footsteps echoed, and I assumed it was my father approaching. Peering into the distance, I beheld an uncanny sight. A gray silhouette mirroring my father's form, advancing from the shadows about 150 to 200 yards away. The figure, resembling my father in every detail, moved deliberately towards me until it halted, fixing its gaze upon me. A silent wave rippled through the air, as if the figure sought to communicate its ethereal presence. Instinctively, I reciprocated the greeting, assuming it was my father, clad in his unmistakable bright orange attire. Yet, as I turned to confirm his approach from my left, my eyes widened with bewilderment. There, unmistakably, was my father in his signature orange attire, striding towards me from an entirely different direction, at 10 o'clock to my left. The distance between my living father and the spectral doppelganger grew increasingly apparent. Puzzled, I shifted my gaze back to the gray apparition, only to find it had vanished without a trace. The woods once again enveloped in stillness. My father and my late grandfather, near identical in their baldness and stature, left me grappling with the inexplicable. A wave of realization washed over me. I had perhaps encountered the spectral presence of my departed grandfather during our hunting journey. As someone not inclined towards superstition or belief in the paranormal, I would have dismissed such encounters as figments of an overactive imagination. However, the clarity of what unfolded before me that day defied my skepticism. In the heart of the woods, where generations had pursued their quarry, an otherworldly encounter left me contemplating the thin veil between the realms of the living and the departed.